According to a study done by Harvard, 85% of one's success at workplace is attributed to soft skills and only 15% to technical skills. And even Peggy Klaus once said, soft skills get little respect but will make or break your career. So let us take up this opportunity to boost the most important skill of our career. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kirtan Singh from first year BLLB. And on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, I welcome you all to this extraordinary webinar on presentation skills, a key to success in legal profession. But before we continue, I want the students to follow a basic set of rules. Please keep your mics off during the event. And if you have any question regarding the webinar, please put it in the chat box. It will be answered shortly. Do not interrupt the session anyhow, and please maintain the decorum and avoid unnecessary chatting in the chat box. Moving on, one tree can start a forest, one word can frame a goal, and one candle can wipe out darkness. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone. This quote is very much filling to our principal, Dr. Ujjwala Shinde ma'am. Ma'am, you are our true leader, and your endless care, guidance, and support proves that. We are blessed to have you here with us, and your gracious presence matters to us. With a thankful heart, I welcome you to this webinar, ma'am. Ma'am, I request you to illuminate our morning with your beautiful and inspiring words. Principal ma'am, if you could please say a few words to us.
Thank you very much for your kind words. So good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Today we are having this webinar on presentation of soft skills or presentation, how students should present. Because we are lawyers and it is necessary that we must know how to present. So I welcome Dr. Goren for this webinar. On behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College and Dr. D.Y. Patil Unitech Societies Management, I welcome you all the participants. I can see that how enthusiastic you all are. So once again, I welcome you all and I request that you can start with the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You never fail. Your words never fail to motivate us, and we are glad to have such an amazing principal who keeps guiding us with words of wisdom. Thank you so much. And moving on, it is my turn to extend a gracious and inclusive thanks to our respected English faculty, Pradeep Kendre sir. Sir, it's your sense of commitment and determination which creates an apt platform for us to grow mentally as well as spiritually. I thank you as well as Ajay Kavle sir for providing us this wonderful opportunity to be a part of this educative and informative webinar. I also cordially welcome all the faculty members of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College. As you know, we have a very renowned and respected personality among us. So to unveil more, I request Mr. Ajay Kavle sir to welcome our chief guest and tell us more about him. Ajay Kavle sir.
Yes. Good morning, one and all. Our today's guest, Dr. Vittal Gore sir, he is assistant professor and head of Department of English and IQAC coordinator at Sri Hoggy Swami College, Udgir District, Latur. To brief about his academic achievements, he is MA from SRT MUN, MPhil from MQU and PhD in English from Osmania University, Hyderabad. Sir has achieved various international certifications from PTS USA India Limited and Cambridge University, UK. Sir is teaching English literature, communication skills and phonetics since June 1997. Sir is recognized PG teacher and research supervisor in English. Sir is member of BOS, that is Board of Study Syllabus Committee for English, SRT MUN, from 11th January 2017 to January 2018. Sir is subject expert for MHRD sponsored UGC Content Development Program. Sir is resource person for UGC HRDC conferences, seminar and short-term courses. Sir is editor for national and international research journals and newsletters. Sir is successful NAC IQAC coordinator. Sir has edited several books, edited several books and presented various conferences and papers. I request our today's guest speaker, Dr. Vittal Gore sir, to enlighten us on the topic soft skills, importance in legal professionals. Thank you, sir.
First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizing institution, Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, Pune, Maharashtra, for organizing this webinar on presentation skills, a key to success in legal profession. Honorable Principal Dr. Ujjwala Shinde ma'am, coordinators Mr. Pradeep Kendre, Mr. Ajay Kavle, and all my dear students, faculty members, and participants of this event, a very warm good morning. Friends, today we are going to talk on presentation skills, a key to success in legal profession. As you know very well, presenting information, especially legal points, very clearly and effectively is a key skill, especially for a lawyer, especially for a legal professional. These days, presentation skills are required in almost every field wherever you go. And most of us are involved in the process of presentation on different occasions. Actually, presentation skills refer to all the qualities that you need to deliver a clear and effective presentation on a given topic. What you say during a presentation, that actually matters. Generally, a presentation has 3 phases. 1, the preparation. 2nd, your delivery. And 3rd, how effective you were, your follow-up. So the presentation or the public speaking that you call it in general is a very necessary prerequisite for the competent lawyers and the other professionals as well. Good speaking skills, your ability to effectively communicate and connect with the audience is an asset of your personality. More particularly, for the legal professionals, I mean to say the lawyers, this is even more important. The people, I mean to say the common people as we are, we think that you are a fearless and brilliant public speaker because you are a learned lawyer. If you have effective presentation skills, this means you are good at communication. By speaking clearly, aptly, getting your observations, arguments, justifications, and the kind of message that you want to put forward across the court, if these things you can do very smoothly, then only you can be a successful lawyer. Actually, presentation skills help you to create your innovative ideas, especially in the case of the budding lawyers. Your creativity and the way you very interestingly talk on a project or a topic, and especially on the floor of the court, a case, your arguments all will decide, one, your effectivity, second, the results of the case. Moreover, the presentation aids legal references that also make your argument more interesting, acceptable. Beyond that, your research about the case, citations of the IPC, and whatever that relate to your case, once you present all these things very confidently on the floor of the court, victory is always yours. So friends, with this happy note, I would like to begin with the presentation today. The topic which is assigned to me is presentation skills, and already I spoke about it in general in my introduction. As a whole, my presentation will comprise of 3 objectives, and I will try to address all these 3 objectives in the course of my presentation. 1, to know the principles of professional presentation. Second, to know the importance of verbal and non-verbal communication. And the third, to enable the learners for persuasive and effective presentation. As I know, most of my audience today is from the law colleges. And all of you want to make your career as a lawyer in our country. And of course, unless you have very effective presentation skills, you will not be able to find your own space there in this profession. Friends, first of all, I would like to address presentation skill in general, and gradually I will lead it to your profession in particular. As far as presentation skills are concerned, you will find any number of definitions available in different forms today. But presentation skills can be defined as a set of abilities. And of course, everybody else, every individual should put an effort to improve the competence. And these abilities which enable an individual to interact with the audience, transmit the messages with the utmost clarity, engage the audience in the presentation, in the topic that the speaker is talking about, and interpret and understand the mindset of the listeners. And once you realize that you are in a position to do all these four, then you can assume you are on the right track and acquiring presentation skills, and definitely you will hone the skills in the course of time. Presentation skills are the set of skills one needs in delivering effective and engaging presentations. After completing your degrees, once you get your bar council registration done and stand there in the floor of the court, you will realize that how important the presentation skills are, how important the effective delivery is. And these skills generally cover a variety of areas, such as the structure of your presentation, tone of your voice, and the body language that you maintain while standing there on the floor of the court. The presentation skills are the abilities that one needs in order to deliver compelling, engaging, informative, transformative, educational, enlightening, and instructive presentation. But in your case, I would like to say, your presentation should be inclusive and acceptable to the jury. And unless you make it compelling by your references, elucidations, legal points, critical legal points, your presentation will not be effective. To talk in brief, the key points to effective presentation skills are: number one, your effective language. Number two, style of speaking. Number three, your creativity. And finally, your delivery. And once you acquire these things and put in your sincere efforts in order to present your case, or else in order to present your topic, if at all you are speaking as a speaker in general, then you need to know about the kinds of presentations as well. Presently, I am dealing with a kind of informative session, trying to share with you all about the information related to presentation skills and trying to, hone your skills for that particular skill. So you have different types of presentations as such. You have informative presentations, instructional presentations, emotional presentations, and in your case that I would like to discuss in detail is your persuasive presentation. Because the case that you take up in your hands either as a legal advisor or a lawyer, and you play your role there in the court, your major concern is to make your client successful. It means you have to win the case that you are trying your level best for the victory of your client, for the success of your client. So your persuasive presentation skills play a crucial role once you stand there on the floor as a lawyer. But while doing so, you come across different methods or styles of presentation. You have a manuscript presentation, you have the memorized presentations, and you have the extempore presentations. I think the lawyers never go for the memorized presentations. And if at all you try to do so, probably you will never be a successful lawyer throughout your lifetime. But as far as the manuscript and extempore presentations are concerned, instead of calling it the manuscript, I would love to call it script. Because you can plan your case, you can plan your presentation to make it effective there on the floor of the court. But your extempore ability of handling the situation in the nick of time can really make you a successful lawyer. If you go for a scripted presentation, or else if you go for a memorized presentation, I think you will never be able to win a single case. Unless you are well prepared, thoroughly knowledgeable, having the adequate knowledge of all the codes of conduct, all the codes like IPC code and all, then only you will be able to stand over there on the floor of the court with a confidence. So your preparation while doing your courses, law courses, whatever you are doing, like LLB or LLM, or any courses, specialized courses that you have. So your knowledge of this field and your extempore ability of effectively speaking can really make you a good lawyer. Now let us talk about the professional presentation. Because engineering or else lawyership, these are considered to be the professions, and you people are called professionals, right? So when you stand there on the floor of the court, you present your client or you stand over there as a representative of your client, your professional approach is disparately required. Giving an effective presentation means working on two important things. One, the topic, in your case, it is a case that you take up. And second, your audience, I mean to say, the judge or the jury or whosoever is there as your counterpart lawyer and the audience of the court. You should be so effective that not only the judge or the jury, but your counterpart and the audience there in the court should get convinced with your argument. So once you start with, mind it well, think about the audience point of view. Here, already I told you, I am considering audience at a larger level. You have your judge or a jury, your counterpart, your colleagues sitting over there, those who are the working lawyers, and the people, the common ordinary people like us, those who are coming there just to watch out the proceedings of the court. So a lawyer should think in the perspectives of the audience, more particularly in the perspectives of the judge or the jury, because you have to convince him more that how your standpoint is right, how your standpoint is acceptable to all standard procedures of the law, and the judgment should get into your favor. So while planning your speech or presentation, you have to have all these things in your mind. Moreover, you should also appeal to the emotions, but mind it well. Law does not work on your emotions and feelings. Law works according to the laws of the country. But when it comes to your presentation, ultimately we are the human beings. We have our own emotions, feelings, and whatnot, everything that we have in our mind. So here, appealing to the emotion is also a great way to convince and inspire the action which is expected to be done by others. But it should also be equally supported with the legal inputs that you present over there on the floor of the court. Now the point is how to be an effective presenter, how to be an effective lawyer. The first and the foremost thing that you need to remember is to begin or to start strongly. Once your beginning is good, mind it well, everything will go on as expected. Once the beginning is good, your end will also be good and it will be in your favor. So you should be in a position to strongly ask for justice in the favor of your client. Similarly, as a lawyer, show off your passion for the profession. Unless you are passionate for the profession, your commitment, involvement, dedication, your own management of all these affairs, legal affairs, will not be more effective. So you have to have passion for your profession, then only you can cultivate yourself, then only you can grow yourself as a successful lawyer. But while doing so, earlier also I said, connect with your audience. You can get connected with your audience based on the legal inputs that you present there in the court, the effectivity of your speaking. You should attack the mind and the feelings or the heart of the people at a time, then only you will get connected with the audience that you have. But while doing so, focus on the needs also. Because you are standing there on the floor as a lawyer. You are not going to appeal to the emotions of the people in general, like a politician or a public speaker who is talking on different social issues. You are representing your client only because your client is not learned, especially in the field of law. So you are representing on the behalf of. So when you do so, your preparation, your notes, your legal points, your critical legal points, your counterparts' arguments and your counter arguments can make you a successful lawyer. So you need to focus on all these things. You may prepare at your office to your convenience. But when the proceedings are going on there on the floor of the court, depending on the strategy adopted by the counterpart or the opponent lawyer, you should be also flexible to counter attack. Okay, take it in a positive way, so that you will be in a winning side. But while doing so, always concentrate on the core of your message, because you are asking for justice and you have to prove that your side, your client's side is demanding justice, because some justice is going to take place with him or her, and you are asking for justice. So try to keep it in simple way, but it should be more effective as well. And while doing so, of course, be serious while presenting or dealing with your topic, but keep a small smile on your face also. Show a pleasing attitude. Make eye contact, especially with the honorable judge or the jury there in the court. Have an optical contact with your counterpart also, because you can make a lot of sense once you have a look at the person. And similarly, you need to really address your case in such a way that you are going to make a convincing attempt there on the floor of the court. So beyond that, what I personally feel that you can do so many things. If you really want to improve yourself as a successful presenter, as a successful lawyer, as a successful speaker, you may have a lot of knowledge now. You are full of knowledge. Just imagine that you have tremendous knowledge of all the IPC, Indian Penal Code, or any other sectors, sections that you have. You are thoroughly prepared in the knowledge point of view, in the information point of view. But unfortunately, you are not a good speaker. You are not an effective speaker. Is your knowledge of any use? Do you think that you will be able to be a successful lawyer? I hope you know about the first case, that of Mami Bai, that of M.K. Gandhi in particular, Mahatma Gandhi, who accepted the case of a Mami Bai in Mumbai High Court. And when he stood over there in the floor of the court, he could not even open up his mouth to say a few words about the case. But later, he could improvise. He became a great public speaker. He became a political image. And today we call him the father of India. Probably when he started as a lawyer and started doing his professional responsibility, performing his duty as a lawyer, he might have failed over there on the floor. But later, the kind of skills that he developed in the course of time made him a big icon. So my point is, there are a number of students coming from different backgrounds, right? Some may have excellent skills, some may not have, some may have a few. But here, once you accepted that you are going to, be a lawyer or getting into the legal profession, you have to improve your skills. So once you take up a case, think about the purpose of your presentation. Identify the clear aims and outcomes. Look at the pros and cons of the case. What are the strengths of the case that you can promote successfully, and based on it, you can win it? More particularly, once you deal with your case, mind it well, you need to be straightforward, no doubt. But you should be logical more and more. Already I told, the court or the judge or the jury does not accept anything emotional. They want everything legal, and if you promote your ideas, observations, or you put forward your arguments, which are logically organized and legally supported, then only you will be successful there on the floor. So show or refer what you are going to explain to them. Because the number of references that you give while speaking in the favor of your client, I think your references may be that of the IPC, maybe that of the previous cases, maybe that of the cases which are already, pronounced. All these things will be an asset of your talk. And tell them what exactly you need to tell them. You need to find that space. Keep the content that you are talking about relevant to the case. Be focused. Have something which is worthy of presenting. There are a few points which are very minor or negligible. But sometimes in the legal point of view, such a point can also have a lot of importance that can really work as a turning to the table. So organize your presentation very logically. Be aware of your facial expressions, your eye contacts. Make your, audience very comfortable with you. You need to be very comfortable with your counterpart, with your colleagues, and more particularly with the judge or the jury to whom you are facing there on the floor of the court. And always take your time to convince the judge or the jury. Because the most important task that you are expected to do is you have to convince to the court, you have to convince to the judge or a jury that whatever point, whatever argument that you are making in the favor of your client, they are just and have to be accepted based on certain references that you give. So be very professional once you stand over there. But now I would like to let you know whatever general discussion I had about the presentation skills. Do you think that you can do it without effective communication skills? The foundation of effective presentation skill is deeply rooted there in your ability of using language as a medium or a tool of communication. Whether it is Hindi, English, or Marathi, whatever. Once the proceedings are going on there in the floor of the court, you share your ideas, you share your inputs, you share your observations, you talk about the strength of the case. And once you do that, unless you are really an effective speaker, having very good command over the language in the communicative point of view, you will never be successful. So the point is, an individual needs to interact orally. Actually, it can be generalized with friends, relatives, colleagues, teachers, classmates, so on and so on. We do express our ideas, feelings, thoughts, experiences, and so on and so on. But moreover, in the professional point of view, whichever profession you are into, first of all, you should be an effective communicator. Similarly, one has to make an explanations during your practical sessions. Now you are the budding lawyers. You are preparing for whatever course that you have taken up for a certain number of years. So you do a lot of explanations of your tutorials, practicals, You take part in seminars, workshops, presentations, academic discussions, interactions, interviews, viva voce, and your mock, preparations are going on as it is assumed to be over there in the court. So when you do that, you have to prove that you are an effective communicator. In general, just have a glance, just have a look at this slide. You have different types of communications. Based on the communication channels, you have verbal and non-verbal, whereas verbal consists of oral and written. When it comes to oral, you have face-to-face and distance. Now I am interacting with you all by the distance mode with the help of a technology, digital technology. But when it comes to the style-based or based on style and purpose, you have the formal and informal communication. And more particularly, your profession demands a number of formalities to be done in the course of proceedings. The way you enter to the floor of the court and the way you exit from the floor of the court, everything is very planned and systematic, and that demands the certain formal approach of everybody. But one thing is very clear here, whether you are into any kind of communication, but every lawyer, every budding professional requires certain command over communication skills. And when I say communication skills, I mean to say listening, speaking, reading, and writing, all these four. A lawyer should always be a good listener first. Unless you understand the viewpoint of your client, you will not be able to speak about the case there in the floor. And automatically, writing skills are also disparately required to put forward all these proceedings over there on the floor of the court. So your reading and writing equally carry certain importance. And while conveying your legal information in a logical manner as a lawyer, you need to do it very fluently and effectively, and that you can do only when you have very good communication skills. So your verbal stance should always be clear, concise, and persuasive. Because your clients expect lawyers to make logical use of legal terminologies while speaking there on the floor. But if at all the lawyer is talking to the client outside the court, and if he is using legal terminology, do you think that the people like us, those who are the part and parcel of this society, living a civil life, can understand the legal terminology? I don't think so. Because you have your own legal language. The kind of language that you use, whenever I have seen some of the cases and the pronouncement of the case is already done, once you get the judgment, you need a lot of time to understand that. Because the English that we use is a general English, communicative English. Whereas the people there in the legal profession, they have their legal terminology. Each term has its own meaning and value. So you need to be very keen about it. And unless you acquire very effective or good communication skills, you can never be a successful legal professional. But while doing so, mind it well, once you acquire presentation skills, once you command your communication skills also, but much beyond that, I say, action speaks louder than words. And that leads you to the topic called non-verbal communication. Right? You might have heard about this proverb in English. Action speaks louder than words. Of course, unless you speak fluently, you will not be able to win any case, no doubt. But similarly, your kinesics, your body language, okay, that also works a lot when it comes to the effective communication as a lawyer. You have different categories like physical category, aesthetic category, you have signs and symbols, which are the integral aspects of non-verbal communication. Once you stand there in the floor of the court, your facial expressions, your tone of voice, your sense of touch, your body movements and body motions, everything is counted by the judge or the jury first, your counterpart, the opponent lawyer, your colleague sitting over there in the court, and the audience, the common people, those who came over there to watch the proceedings. So the most integral and important aspect of non-verbal communication is the kinesics or the physical, category that comes under this. Similarly, you need to be aesthetic, but it is not that required. Instead of calling it creative expressions, I would call it critically looking into the legal aspects, critically looking into the laws and bylaws, whatever that you learn. So once you acquire it, you will realize that you are putting forward your ideas more effectively. Then the use of signals, flags, colors, that is also coming under non-verbal communication. You have symbolic meanings as well, like religious symbols or status, commercial symbols and logos, so on and so on. But as far as our non-verbal communication is concerned, your facial expressions and gestures make a lot of influence on everybody. And once you stand over there in the floor or on the floor of the court, your static features are quite crucial. The way you maintain the distance, your orientation of the case, your posture as a lawyer, your physical contact with the objects and things around or the people around, that is also counted considerably by your audience, especially by the court. Similarly, you have the dynamic features as well, which are related to an individual lawyer. If you are well prepared, thoroughly knowledgeable, your facial expressions, your entire body language, your gestures, your optical glances, everything will reveal how prepared and confident you are. And unless you really look after these features of non-verbal communication, mind it well, you can never be a successful lawyer. Let us go for a case study. You can identify a few, lawyers working in the Supreme Court, a few working in the High Court, a few working in the District Court. Identify a few of them and make a minute survey of all these things. You will come to your own conclusion that why are they successful as lawyers. So once you start preparing for communication skills, then you narrow down to prepare for presentation skills in particular. Parallelly, you should also equally work on the non-verbal communication. Then only you will be a successful lawyer. Let us go beyond that. You have the non-linguistic ways of exchanging messages. But the court does not, accept your non-linguistic ways. Your linguistic ways should be supported by non-linguistic ways. Then only the things will move in your favor. You have a word like kinesics. What do you mean by kinesics? Kinesics means your forward and backward movements there in the floor of the court, your upward and downward movements, your side to side movements in the floor, your vertical movements, if at all they are needed. So once you do that, that also carry a lot of importance as far as your profession is concerned. And already I talked about your facial expressions, your eye contact, your perceptible communication, your personal space that you create for yourself, and overall the kind of environment that you get and that you provide to the counterpart and to the court as well as a lawyer. These are the non-linguistic ways of exchanging message. Just imagine, you are a very good speaker, right? Again, if at all it is being supported by the non-linguistic ways of exchanging messages, you will be, really rocking the floor, because you are commanding the non-linguistic and the linguistic, both the ways of exchanging messages. So please don't ignore this particular aspect of your skill development. But while talking in particular about your profession, that is professional skills as required for lawyers, I think you need to take all these 14 points into consideration. Already I discussed about the passion for profession. I think passion for profession should always be there with everybody. Now I am a teacher, I should have a passion for teaching. Then only I can be a good teacher. Likewise, you are the budding lawyers. You have to cultivate a passion for your profession. And once you develop, once you cultivate, once you nurture the passion for your profession, automatically your involvement into the profession will be higher and higher. But at the same time, never forget that you are also a human being. You have feelings, emotions, sentiments, personal life, so on and so on. Have compassion for clients. Don't be so mercantile, don't be so pragmatic, practical, rude as far as the treatment to your clients is concerned. The days are gone, the way some people used to treat. But now your social skills can make you get connected with a number of people around. And one client can develop your business by recommending the others. Right? So mouth-to-mouth publicity of a lawyer, that works a lot in the society, what I personally observed. Similarly, you have to have excellent verbal skills. Actually, entire talk is focusing on this. So I need not talk in detail about this particular point. But as a lawyer, you may be winning the cases because of your effective verbal skills. But similarly, you should also have willingness to listen. Listen to your client first. Listen to when you get the turn as a listener, listen to your counterpart, the lawyer standing opposite to you. And if at all any remarks are being made by the court, by the judge or the jury, listen to it carefully. So unless you have the willingness to listen, you will never develop the listening skill as well. The most important thing, as I have been insisting right from the beginning, knowledge of the laws, sections, laws, bylaws, whatever. You have to have the tremendous knowledge of laws. And if you feel you are lacking in some area, try to develop yourself, try to improvise yourself. Have a strong ability of writing as well, because your drafting skills are tested as a lawyer. The way you put forward with your ideas while writing your case Actually, the initial stage of drafting your case is leading to either success or failure. So your effectivity as a writer or as a person drafting the matter makes a big sense in your success as a lawyer. Beyond that, your analytical skills, your research skills, your creativity to find something very extraordinary that can be useful as a legal point, your judgment of the case, moreover, your critical legal information, people skills, they are all carrying a lot of importance in your profession. And unless you minutely look into each and every point, try to cultivate and nurture all these things in your personality, you will never be a successful lawyer. And beyond that, your time management and stress management. Mind it well, if at all you are into a criminal case and trying to, put forward the matter of your client, stress management is quite crucial. Probably the way your counterpart is going to deal with, sometimes you may come under stress. And unless you have time management and stress management, you will not be able to address the requirements of the proceedings. So I would suggest, as a professional lawyer or as a budding professional lawyer, this will be more suitable to you all because most of my audience is now doing some courses in the field of law. So you should develop all these things while preparing to be a professional lawyer. There are a few don'ts and do's. Do dress up to impress the people. Okay, wherever you are. Because your dressing sense, your self-maintenance creates your image in the society, creates your image there in the bar council, and that also creates your image over there on the floor of the court. So do dress yourself to impress. If you want to be taken seriously by the people, you should take this aspect also very seriously. Don't allow your body language to let you down. Mind it well, already I told you. The non-verbal communication is more important while making effective communication or verbal communication. So stand up straight, keep a small smile on your face. Don't wave your hands in such a way that they are going to drown you somewhere. Keep your entire body language very positive. Do make eye contact with your audience, already discussed. And this last point is quite crucial. Don't whisper, but at the same time, don't shout also. So you have to have your own voice modulation that should really be audible to everybody, but nobody should think that you are shouting at someone. So all these things are quite crucial as far as your lawyership is concerned and your presentation over there on the floor of the court is concerned. So before I conclude, I would like to give a concluding tips or a couple of concluding tips. Your preparation for your case, your presentation style, the kind of assessment that you make of your audience, more particularly in order to convince your judge or the jury. You need to develop yourself as a successful presenter. And as a whole, structure your presentation so nicely that it should really work out on the floor effectively, and that should really go to your credit finally. So before I sign off, I would like to just remind you all about one simple suggestion from my end. But before that, I would like to say a few words about Mahatma Gandhi. The Mahatma was an ardent and inveterate votary of truth, as you know very well. The truth, like non-violence, was the first article of his faith and the last article of his creed. So finally, I request you all to be an ethical lawyer and serve the country and build the country as well. So thank you very much. I really express my regards to the organizing institution, more particularly Kendre sir, who has been constantly in touch with me for the past 15 days or so in order to make this event a grand success. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed very informative and edifying as well. And I'm sure all of us had infinite things to learn about today. And we are really honored by your efforts to guide us. And it is a kind request to everyone. If you have any questions to ask to sir, you can put it in the chat box. And I'll read out the questions for you, sir, if there are any in the chat
Please
box.
proceed.
There is a question in chat.
Okay. So somebody has asked, let me read it out, sir.
Yeah.
Besides of criminal cases, when we are dealing civil and arbitrary, that time morality, empathy and sympathy and physiological perspective of judiciary member, can these concern factors influence judgment in our favor? So somebody has asked, can these factors influence judgment in our favor?
Yes,
Factors
yes.
are,
I think, yeah, in the course of my presentation, I think I touched upon this aspect also. When I said, we need to address sometimes to the emotions of the audience. Because when it comes to the civil cases, right, you are talking about somebody's either, if at all there is a case about a couple and they have a divorce matter, I think you need to address this case in the emotional point of view. And there are so many settlements also which are done out of the court without any proceedings. So it depends on the case, whether it is a criminal case or a civil case, and how do you really address it. Because your sympathy, your psychological perspective, and judiciary, ultimately all of us are the human beings. And you cannot dissociate your emotions from your profession. And depending on the requirement of the case, and depending on the mood of the case, I would say, these things are inevitable, no doubt.
I hope you got that. Thank you so much for answering that question, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes, Sarvajan.
Sir, I had a question. During the course of a presentation, you might find some people who are heckling or interrupting your presentation, or sometimes try to take the attention away or take the audience's attention away from you. So how do you deal with this sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I think it happens many times. So you need to remember only two things that I suggested. Number one, be focused, and number two, have your own stress management. If at all somebody is trying to disturb you intentionally, unless you have your own stress management, you will never be able to control your own emotions, feelings, and ideas. Once you control yourself and be focused, what exactly you want to present, promote, and convince to the judge or the jury, you will never be successful. So only have simple strategy. Be focused and have your proper stress management. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the answer.
Is anybody else who want to ask any question to sir?
Yes, sir, yes. Sir, I would like to ask a question, sir.
Yes, Gaurav, please.
Sir, when we are dealing with the arbitrary cases and the negotiatory cases like the civil matters, how much of the, how kind of the communication that time more prospective and more effectively? Law matter, morality and ethically matters. What kind of the communication?
Yeah. See, one thing is,
bias statement, sir.
yeah, I understood. See, whenever you are into any legal issue, and that is coming to the civil court, and you want to settle down the matter outside the floor of the court, right? So you as a mediator, please don't misinterpret the word. because the role of a lawyer is very crucial. If you are an ethical practitioner, okay, like M.K. Gandhi, you will try to settle down the issues to the level possible, right? Utmost level possible. So if you really want to do that, your communication with both the parties and your communication with your counterpart lawyer, that will decide whether the matter is going to be settled or not. There are so many lawyers, especially in the case of the, what do you call it, divorce cases, there are so many lawyers, those who are making the successful reunion of the, especially husband and wives. So it depends on your own stand, the ethical point of view and the moral stand that you take up in these cases. And that's why I concluded my presentation today with a suggestion and a request also that please be an ethical lawyer. As we expected a doctor to be ethical, as we expect like a teacher to be ethical, likewise the whole nation expects a lawyer to be ethical. You know the fact over here, I don't know whether, I can really make this kind of statement from this platform or not. But there are several cases which are pending for years together. Sorry to say so, but this is the fact. But if at all the lawyer is convinced and he has his own time management and decides that or convinced that he is going to, wind up it as early as possible, things are possible. So whether it is a criminal case or a civil case. So your ethical point of view is quite crucial. Actually, the common people like me are really worried, We don't want to climb up the steps of a police station. We don't want to climb up the steps of the court also. The people are afraid. And once the ethical lawyers will get into the profession, the people will feel at ease to come over there, even to ask for justice. I hope I addressed your query.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any more questions? Sir, if there is a question, the person is asking, for handicapped lawyer, there are some limitations. So how can he present himself and compete with others?
See, unfortunately, if somebody is, already challenged by the nature, I would call it like that way. Okay, there are so many people having some, deformity, physical deformity, and they are challenged by nature. But if at all they have the unquenchable desire to win, I think they can also be equally successful in this profession. But only one thing, that one should be the effective speaker, right? If at all you are physically challenged and you are having the loss of one leg or both the legs, no matter. If you don't have both the hands, no matter. But you have to have the effective vocal cords to present your, case on the behalf of your client very effectively there in the floor of the court. You can do that.
Thank you so much for answering that, sir. Now, Aryan Singh has a question. He says, sir, any tips to improve our communication skills while we are sitting at home? At this time, we don't get to interact with people in person, so we can only learn things theoretically.
It's a very good question, but I would like to tell you one thing. Unless you are a very good listener, you can never be a good speaker. That's why, while talking in the course of my presentation, I pointed out that a lawyer should always be a good listener, right? So keep listening, automatically you will get ample number of ideas to speak out. And when it comes to the communication skills, I don't narrow down only to speaking and listening. I always consider all the four skills, listening, speaking, reading and writing all together. Plus I add on grammar skills as well. Unless you have the proper grammar, correct grammar, your message will not be conveyed. neither in the spoken form nor in the written form. So you have to have a very good command over communication skills. Now the another sub question is, all of us are held up at home, especially students, and you don't get much space to interact with the people. You can utilize this time to listen to the speakers. Okay, there are number of websites available. You have scientists, you have teachers, you have lawyers, those who are sharing their ideas on this very effective online platform. Listen to them. Okay, grab as much as information, knowledge that you can. And once you create your own group, okay, create your small groups, maybe of your friends or classmates, whosoever, even with your teachers as well, and start discussing and take a platform to share your own self, your own ideas, observations, legal points. Okay, you can do that. So developing communication is in your own hands. How do you really utilize this time, pandemic time, to enhance and develop your own skills? I do agree that all the students are held up at home. We, the teachers, are also held up at home. But we can utilize it for the improvement of our students as a teacher, and students can utilize it for their own development.
Thank you so much for answering that, sir. Now, Mahima has a question to you. She has asked, how will a person with stutter can effectively present a case?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Sir, she has asked, how will a person with a stutter can effectively present a case? A person who stutters a lot.
Okay, again we go back to the same. And see, the profession of a lawyer is all depending on your effective speaking skills. I hope most of us are from Marathi background here. I hope you might have heard a proverb in Marathi. बोलणाऱ्याच्या करडी विकतात, न बोलणाऱ्याचा शरबती गहू पण विकत नाही. What does it mean? It means that unless you are an effective speaker, put forward your legal points in front of the court, in front of the judge or the jury, nobody will accept your standpoint. So you have to develop yourself. You have to develop your language proficiency. You have to develop your communication skills. And more particularly, you need to be very, very specific about your spoken skills, your fluency. Mind it well. Speaking in a tremendous speed doesn't mean fluency. How correctly, how properly you are delivering your ideas and trying to make your audience get convinced with your standpoint, that is called convincing approach. Because your presentation over there in the floor of the court comes under the persuasive category. Your presentations are called persuasive presentations. You have to persuade the matter, you have to convince the court, then only the case will be in your favor. The result will be in your favor. And that is all possible with your effectivity of speaking.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, Aditya has a question to you. Sir, what role do facial expressions, gestures, and pauses play in communication?
The most crucial role, played by these things is much, much greater than the words that you speak. Already I told you, action speaks louder than words. What does it mean? Now I'm sitting in front of you, occupied a chair. Half of my body is visible to you all. The movements that you do or that I do in the class, the hand movements that I do in the class, I think I'm confined by, or I'm getting limited by this platform. I cannot really exercise my natural body language as I do in the class. right? But at least you might have observed as you face your teachers every day for your online classes. You just minutely observe the body language of a teacher, the facial expressions, the optical contacts, the face that he is, especially whether the smiley face or a very serious face. That also conveys a lot. Now I could see the very positive gesture by Honorable Principal Ma'am, right? So once you find a persona right in front of you, or else you stand as a lawyer there in the middle of the court, your body language will make you either a successful one or a failure one. If you are well prepared, if you are well knowledgeable, if you have the legal points, and if you, from the bottom of your heart, from the bottom of your mind, think that your side has a merit, automatically everything will work out in a positive way. At the bottom of your heart, you know that my case, my side is not having a merit. Automatically, it will reflect on your body also, right? So whether it is your leg movements or hand movements or facial gestures, even your pronunciation of words, everything will get affected. So as far as the success of communication is concerned, especially verbal communication, I would give more weightage to the body language and then the leftover some weightage to the language. So you have to have good language, no doubt. But equally, it should be supported by the very effective body language. Then only your message will be conveyed very effectively.
Sir, we are glad to have you answering all our questions, and we are getting more questions. Ekansh wants to know how to calm ourselves when sometimes our nervousness takes our speech. Some people say that start speaking louder automatically, you will calm down. Some people say, he says that some people say that start speaking louder and you will automatically calm down. So he wants to know how we can calm ourselves in nervousness.
See, number one, convert your negatives into positives. What did I say? Convert your weaknesses into your strengths. Convert your negatives into positives. Everybody is restless for a second or two. Whatever achievements, whatever credentials are there, to our credit. Whenever we go to a new platform, even today, I happen to go to academic staff colleges or HRDCs as a resource person. I do come to different universities, almost half of the country. I have been, visiting constantly for the last many years. So, for the first couple of seconds, even today, as you are talking about the kind of nervousness, that anxiety is very natural. But convert your nervousness, make it into your confidence, and once you come to your spontaneity, once you come to your natural flow, once you come to the flow of your ideas, automatically all these nervousness or nervous ideas or negatives will vanish from your personality. Nobody will even notice it. But it is generally there just for a fraction of seconds sometimes, in few cases, and in a few cases it may be in the beginning for a couple of minutes, but that will vanish. But the most important thing is you should believe in your own self. That is self-confidence. If you are self-confident, automatically nervousness will vanish hardly in a fraction of a second. And sometimes being nervous is good. That will compel you to prepare much better.
Thank you, sir. We have already taken much of your time, but I request you to kindly answer this one last question that has been asked by Shikafa. She has asked, sir, how to maintain our tone or our way to deliver our argument? If there is extreme argument going on, how to keep ourselves calm? I think this is the question that sir recently answered.
Yeah, actually, I spoke about it, but I would like to add on one more thing here. You might have heard about accent training. I don't know how many of you are exposed to this. Accent training leads you to phonetics. Accent training leads you to a kind of training that everybody needs for voice modulation. When to speak in a high pitch and when to speak in a low pitch, how to maintain a smooth speech. It depends on the situation. And no one can train you for everything. The tips can be offered and few of the tips can be followed. But depending on the situation, depending on the environment, depending on the course of the case, you have to decide yourself what to do, and how to manage that. And again, it is leading to the stress management skill. Okay, these are all well connected.
Shankar sir, I hope your question was answered because you are asking the same question that sir has answered. Sir, as I said, we are really glad to have you answering these questions. But moving forward, now I would request respected Pradeep sir to come forward for a vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, Gurman. A very good afternoon, one and all present here. I, Assistant Professor Pradeep Kendre, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, Pimpri, Pune. Today, I take this opportunity to put all my gratitude in the form of words. On behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, I would like to thank our Chief Guest, Dr. Vittal Gore sir, for taking his precious time out and consenting to be the Chief Guest. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this is definitely encouraging us in our future events. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and shown us new ideas regarding presentation skills, listening skills, and importance of all the aspects which are which always helpful for a budding lawyer. You have spoken about the communication skills, language skills, as well as some qualities there should be in a particular lawyer, and only that time he can be a successful one. After that, thank you so much, sir, for becoming with us. Also, I would like to say thank you to our beloved principal, Dr. Ujjwala Sandema, for our kind guidance, inspiration to arrange this particular webinar. Also, I thank to our management for their support. Also, I thank our teaching, non-teaching staff for their help. Last but not least, I thank all the student participants for showing their interest in this webinar to make this webinar a great success. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.